I am everything that Donald Trump hates. I'm a black woman, I'm gay, I am a mom. I definitely have had moments under this administration, whether it was election night, whether it was inauguration night, whether it was the Muslim ban, all these things that have happened where you think to yourself, wow, some awful stuff is happening. Look, the president has the temperament of a toddler and the mind of a white supremacist. And I say that because he knows exactly what he's doing. He knows that he's dividing the country. He knows that he's emboldening racists and bigots. We see that in his policies. We see that in his tweets.
All right, guys, so today we got to talk about Biden's new woke White House press secretary, Miss Karine Jean-Pierre, who's a LGBTQ black woman, right? It's as if the Biden administration gathered all the infinity stones of wokeness and tried to combine them into their White House press secretary. That's exactly what happened, okay? But the reason why we have to talk about her today is because Miss Jeanpierre said some things in the past that would get a whole lot of Republicans and conservatives in trouble if they said the same things that she said, which brings up an interesting question about whether or not she's actually qualified or fit to serve as White House press secretary for the American people. Okay, and I want to make that clear. She's White House press secretary for the American people, not the Democrat Party. And I think some of the things that she said in the past before taking this position, in my opinion, raises a whole lot of questions about whether or not she should actually be in this position. So before I get in that, I just want to let you guys know, if you like my channel, you want to support my channel, you can do so using the links in the description below. You can support the Patreon, you support the PayPal, you support the merch. There are multiple ways to support the channel if you would like to do so. So that being said, we're going to get into some clips and some resurfaced tweets that have come up from Miss Karine Jean-Pierre that is raising a whole lot of questions. And the first clip that I want to get into is Miss Jeanpierre discussing how she believes that Fox News is racist around the time of the pandemic beginning. Take a look.
Was racist before coronavirus. They are racist during the coronavirus. Fox News will be racist after the coronavirus. So there is nothing new here. I think the difference is they are all in on being state TV for Donald Trump. And so they will continue to give them misinformation. The danger is, so yes, you have Asian Americans right now whose lives are seriously in danger. And you have their own viewers who can now, the ones who are 60 and older who are watching, this is a health crisis that we're in. This is a global pandemic, as the WHO has said, and they're putting their lives in danger. And so that is where we are right now, is the danger that Fox News is now, what they're putting out there is going to hurt people and not help them.
Yeah, so as you guys heard there, that is the new woke White House press secretary saying that Fox News is racist, right? So they're calling a major news outlet that she will be dealing with, okay, in her role, right? People like Peter Doocy. She's saying that the network is racist, right? For I don't know what reason, right? Something having to do with Asians and the pandemic or whatever. But I think to me that signals, or strongly signals, that this woman will probably see any criticism of her as racist, right? So Peter Doocy, be on the lookout. If you ask this woman tough questions, right? Questions that make her uncomfortable, she may call you a racist, right? She may call you a bigot as well too, and homophobic, okay? Because again, she has all the infinity stones of wokeness and victimhood wrapped into one body, okay? And she's not afraid to use the R word. She's not afraid to pull the race card, okay? So with that being said, I'm just saying, this is not a good sign for some of these, media people in the White House. Because again, this woman's not afraid to call you racist. Okay, we've already seen that. And I have no doubt in my mind that my boy Peter Doocy is probably going to ask her about that, right? He's probably going to say, do you still think that Fox News is a racist news organization? Right? That would be the perfect question for Peter Doocy to ask her. He should ask her that question on her first day, her first official day on the job. He should ask her that question just to get under her skin. I would love to see it. So next thing I want to talk about is some claims that she made that would get Republicans censored on social media, probably thrown in jail and called insurrectionists, as she made false claims about the 2016 election and the Georgia governor election, claiming that those elections were stolen, okay? These false claims that she's making here, okay? So let's read this, because again, we were told that you cannot make these claims. President Biden's new White House press secretary has previously claimed the 2016 presidential election was, quote unquote, stolen from Hillary Clinton, and that Georgia Republican Governor Brian Kemp stole the 2018 gubernatorial election from Stacey Abrams. Quote, stolen emails, stolen drones, stolen election. Welcome to the world of unprecedented Trump. Karine Jean-Pierre tweeted after former President Donald Trump's 2016 presidential win, repeating Clinton's claims that Trump was illegitimately elected. See, again, this is why when the Democrats start talking about January 6th, okay, and they start talking about the 2020 election, this is why I listen with deaf ears, right? And the reason why is because they were doing this long before the 2020 election, okay? They were making these false claims about the election way before, okay? But it was cool when they was doing it because at the end of the day, you know, Democrats are just right by definition, right? Anything the Democrats say, go. Okay, even if it's not true, even if it's unfounded, even if it's based on conspiracies. So again, guys, imagine if somebody in the next Republican administration, right, held disbelief, okay, about the presidential election. What do you guys think the media would say? The media would say this person's unqualified. You can't hold these beliefs as White House press secretary, right? That's what they would say. But I guarantee you, she will never be questioned on this, or maybe she will. I hope Peter Doocy does his job and questions her on this. Do you believe that the 2016 election was stolen, right? Do you believe that? That's what you should ask her. Quote, reminder, Brian Kemp stole the gubernatorial election from Georgians and Stacey Abrams. Jeanpierre tweeted on April 2nd, 2020, reacting to a news story about Kemp saying he only just learned that asymptomatic people can spread COVID-19. So yeah, this is her making this same unfounded false claim about the Georgia election, okay? Again, I want her to be pressed on this stuff because, again, we all saw what happens to Republicans who made claims like this. So why in the world are Democrats allowed to get away with it? Why in the world is she allowed to be White House press secretary with these beliefs? Not only does she believe in election conspiracies, she also believes one of the major news organizations that she'll be dealing with is a racist organization. Again, does not sound like somebody that should be in this job, right? This person also pushed disinformation as well too, as she pushed the whole Trump-Russia collusion as well, okay? These are the people that's trying to tell us what's true and what's not true. But at the same time, the chief spokesperson of the White House, the Biden administration, pushed disinformation. So let's actually read this. The new incoming White House press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre, has a history of issuing incendiary left-wing tweets alleging conspiracies and targeting former President Donald Trump. Jeanpierre, currently the principal deputy press secretary, will replace current press secretary Jen Psaki, who is leaving to join MSNBC this week. By the way, I don't think that anybody will be watching Jen Psaki's show, right? She's literally got to get paid for having one of the worst shows on television. Jeanpierre, who served in the White House Office of Political Affairs under former President Barack Obama, then served as a senior advisor to the Biden presidential 2020 campaign and later served as vice presidential candidate Kamala Harris' chief of staff, publicly called Trump a racist in a 2019 on MSNBC, ranting, quote, Donald Trump put his hand on the Bible and took the oath of the presidency to be a president for all of us. And since that day, since that moment, every hour, he seems to just prove that to be wrong, right? He is not a president for black people. He's not a president for women. He's not a president for brown people. He's not a president for the LGBTQ community. He chooses just to double down and triple down on bigotry and racism. He is the president of the United States. He's the president of the American people, right? So he's not supposed to be the president of black people, right? He's not supposed to be the president of women. He's not supposed to be president of the LGBTQ community. He's supposed to represent everybody. And I guarantee you, black people have done a lot better under Trump, and Trump has done more things for black people than the Biden administration has, the administration that you work for, okay? Again, I would love to see her asked about that, pressed on that, okay? You said that Trump was not a president for black people. Do you think that Trump has done more for black America than Biden has thus far? I would love to hear her answer on that question. But at the end of the day, I don't think that this press secretary is a press secretary for the American people, right? She's a press secretary for the Democrat Party. That's what it seems like to me. Prior to that, as Fox News noted, 1 month after Trump was elected, she seemingly supported the Russia collusion conspiracy theories targeting Trump, tweeting, quote, fleeing Manafort and the Donald himself, inviting Russia to partake in espionage on our election, Putin love affair. So she's engaging in disinformation, right? This is the White House press secretary engaging in a disinformation campaign here, right? In July 2018, she tweeted that Trump was Russian President Vladimir Putin's puppet, writing, and Russia is still winning because his puppet Trump continues to flagrantly degrade America's standing on the global stage. Yeah. Trump, the puppet of Putin, right? The guy, Putin, who waited till Trump was out of office to invade Ukraine, right? Because he knew that Biden was a weakling, okay? She doubled down 2 days later, adding, sadly, Putin has always had control over Trump. Putin is laughing back home to Russia. The only thing that surprised Putin is how simple and idiotic Donald Trump truly is. Trump made it incredibly easy for Putin. Russia is winning and we are losing. Wow. This woman has peak Trump derangement syndrome. It's absolutely insane. In October 2018, during the confirmation hearings for Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh, she trumpeted about his accuser, Julie Swatnick, who later changed her initial story attacking Kavanaugh. Julie Swatnick, third Brett Kavanaugh accuser, tells NBC that he was a very mean drunk. In April 2020, she attacked GOP Governor Brian Kemp, screeching, reminder, Brian Kemp stole the gubernatorial election from Georgians and Stacey Abrams. Again, a false election conspiracy that she's pushing there. Charges of conflict of interest have been made against Jeanpierre as White House press secretary because her partner, with whom she shares a daughter, is CNN political reporter Suzanne Malbo. So I want you guys to understand, the Biden administration's White House press secretary is literally living with a CNN employee, right? So CNN is in her home. Every single night she's going home to CNN. Okay, and just when you guys thought that CNN couldn't become a more obvious arm of the Biden administration, of the Democrat Party, come on. I mean, they even have the White House press secretary living with one of their employees, okay? I mean, the Biden administration is literally in bed with CNN now. I mean, come on, right? Come on. Talk about conflict of interest. But again, the Democrats don't care about that because Jen Psaki was negotiating with the media for her next job while doing her current job of addressing the media, right? So the Democrats don't care about that. They don't care about morals. They don't care about election conspiracies. They don't care about disinformation. They don't care about any of that stuff, okay? Because if they did, they would not have chose this woman to be the spokeswoman for the Biden administration, right? But hey, you know, she's woke. She's gay, you know, she's a woman, okay? She's black. So none of the other stuff matters, right? None of the other stuff matters. As long as you can woke virtue signal to the American people that, hey, you're included, right? We have representation, okay? But again, we all know that if a Republican would have said all the things that she's saying, that there would be an uproar and they would basically be trying to force the administration to fire her as press secretary, okay? She would be disqualified on the spot. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a black conservative perspective. Peace.